This is the issue I was talking about for these ThinkPad, the E15s, Gen 2s with the charging issue. This is the back of the motherboard in this MOSFET. I didn't realize this. But look at that. I am shocked that the MOSFET has just completely it's just sitting there. That's insane. Hello, this is Telomere and welcome to another repair video. In this video, we are looking at a Lenovo laptop. It is a Lenovo Thinkpad E15 Gen 2. They have a very annoying issue where they suddenly stop charging. Let's take a look and see what's going on with it. These little guys are pretty easy to get into. You've got a bunch of screws in the back. They are all kept in place with washers so that they don't fall out. You use a PH1 for your size of bit. Now, when I first started working on these, I struggled a lot to get in. And there is a relatively easy way to get into them. You have to find a corner, maybe like this corner right here, and you just get in there. These ones are still relatively easy to get into compared to some of the laptops that are coming out now, which for Lenovo, they have the back inlaid almost in, and it's really hard to get into them. You have to use a certain kind of pry tool to get into those, but these, I'd say relatively easy for sure. Just find a corner, work your way through. You don't need to pry on it too hard. And unfortunately, I can tell you in advance, almost always you will break a few clips. Just about every single time you're into one of these, you will break a few clips. So you see there? There's a little piece of clip right there. Yeah. Little chunk of plastic coming off of here. The screws do a great job holding it in place, so it's not the end of the world if you break one off. To see what the issue is, and I already know what the issue is with this, but you do need to take out the entire motherboard. I'm going to show you what the issue is that we're looking at, that we're dealing with. And it's simply that this little guy is not getting any juice. So if I plug it in here, I mean, this is not the best solution because it's not the proper voltage. It wants around 19, 20 volts, and I can only produce 12 volts maximum for this particular setup. Nevertheless, it is pulling nothing. It should pull something. And if I was to show you also with my port tester, it will also show that there's nothing wrong with the pins. And why this is important is if there was an issue with the pins, then it would be clear that it needed a new charge port. That will not be the case for this one. As you can see, it's got 8 pins, quite healthy. Okay, it's time to start getting this sorted. I'm going to take out the battery first. You notice off to the side here, I do have a little microfiber cloth. And the reason why I'm using this is just because it holds onto the screws so well. The screws aren't going to go flying away on you, or like just getting lost. You can pick up the whole thing and move it without worrying. When you're taking the fan out right here, and you're wondering why it's not coming out, after you've taken all 4 screws out here, you've unscrewed them. They do also have washers to prevent them from coming out. You do have 1, 2, 3 screws here as well that need to come up. If you're finding it really difficult for this to come up, just keep in mind that the amount of thermal paste that it's underneath here and also the pads that are underneath there do hold it down pretty good. You just lift this fan up a little bit and you just wiggle it. You'll notice that there is some wiggling going on over here, just what you want. And you're just going to keep wiggling it, pulling up lightly. You do not want to bend these heat pipes, and eventually it'll come up. There we go. Now these screws are a little bit different in size, so I would recommend that you try to keep them laid out on your cloth here, so you can remember where they're going to go back in, because their sizes do matter. You can damage the laptop if you do not put them back in the right place. So we're at the point now where we can take the board out. There are 2 cables on the back. Now before we can get the board out, this is locking this down. So don't need to worry about this side. Motherboard is all on this side. So just lift up a bit on the keyboard tray side of this, and then you can push this back down here and notice that this little hinge is staying up, and that's exactly what we want. Let's pull this little guy out. Let's get that board out. There we go. There is the 2 FPC connectors I was talking about. Let's get those out. or ribbon connectors. I don't know if those are the same thing as an FPC connector or not. There we go. But on the back here, you're going to notice there's a little spot right here. I'll bring it up and close. And this is from me taking this black plastic shielding off. And there is a clear mark right here. Now that didn't look like that originally. All it was a divot. There was just a divot in the plastic in that spot, kind of like a circular melty thing. And when you peel this off, that point right there tore. Gonna need to take this off regardless. You don't need to take the whole thing off, but just enough so that you can work on this. It keeps tearing, keeps getting worse. Oh my goodness. The whole chip came off. I was watching a video from a guy called Soren. I can't remember what the full name of the I can't remember the name of his channel, but I think his channel's name has Soren in it. And this happened to him as well. I am absolutely shocked that it did the same thing as he did, as his did. Let me show you under the microscope what I'm talking about. This is just nuts. I'm shocked that this is a thing, and I really feel that Lenovo should own up to this and should be providing this as a free service to repair this. Do you see the blowing on that? That's how much heat this little guy got there. You can see also there's a little bit of solder that's come off with it. You see just the top there? See if I can hold this down. Little chunk of solder it's just I have almost no words for this. This is ludicrous. I might put in some new solder with this just because it's just that bad. Fortunately, this little guy down here, it's still shiny. That makes me happy. I got to test this and find out whether or not it's still alive. I think it is this pin right here that I got to test against this pad. That is what will tell me whether or not it is still a functioning MOSFET. That right there is showing 0, 0, 0, 0. I think this thing's blown. So we got to find another one of these chips. So how about this little guy? How is it? Is it still good and solid? I think it is. It doesn't look like it's received too much heat. It's going to end up getting a little bit of a reflow regardless. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a bit of a board preheat. I usually have it set to 480 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to drop it to 380 instead. Or maybe 390. Part of the reason why is simply because the board is pretty darn thin. This should not take a lot of effort to get this off. I got the airspeed a bit too high too. I'm going to drop it to maybe like 50% airspeed. Something around there. You just want to go around the board first, heat it up. Keep in mind, like this right here, you just keep in mind what I'm doing here. I completely forgot to mention this. This is another E15 Gen 2 board that I'm working on right now, and I'm going to use this to harvest parts off of, because this one has a much deeper issue than the other one. And I want to recover both the QB6 and the QB5 chips off of the board here. See that little guy right here? That tells me I got to be extra careful. I don't know why I'm struggling mightily to get this chip off. I'm going to put a little bit of flux on the board and just see if that helps it along. That one came off easily. That tells me something. That one, the other chip, I just lifted it up, no problem. But this one, I think this one's welded itself to the board. I think this one's dead. I mean, this board does have an issue with not so much charging, but there we go. Quite commonly, this is a chip that's going to fail anyways. Look at it. Look how crispy and weird that looks. That solder isn't melting like this one is on the right. This one looks fine. It's quite nice. This one,
That is so weird.
So what's the back of this one look like? And another good question is
this one shorted out as well?
Actually, I measured the other one and it was showing 6.7 kilo ohms. It would be a good idea to compare these because these two MOSFETs are identical. Both of these are identical. Let me see if I can get this one in view. There we go. I mean, it's scalding hot, but it's showing 9 kilo ohms. I was showing it about 2 point something kilo ohms. Yeah. Okay. What's this little guy that's really creepy looking? What's it say? Clearly, this one was on its way out as well. That one's showing 0. 0. 0. This one's shorted. And 92 ohms. No wonder why it was so hard to get off. This thing was just... It must have been scalding hot. It's really sad that this one here is pooched, because I can't reuse that. That might actually be the reason why this little guy wasn't turning on at all. Yeah. If I can find another one, like this board is toast. So I might try to see what I can do to get this one up and running again. So I'm going to put this one to the side. I'm going to toss this chip. But what I'm saying is I do have another board. It's an E15 Gen 2. I don't know if these MOSFETs, like they have the same codes underneath them, the QB6, QB5, but it's a different brand of MOSFET. I'm going to see if I can take the MOSFETs from that board and I'm going to put them on here and just see if they work. That would be amazing. The reason why I'm saying this for this one is just because this board is an unknown. It really is an unknown. I don't know if it has a bunch of other problems. All right, just got to clean this up now. I'm going to put a little bit of flex on this. And I want to add,
because just the solder that is there looks a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't look great.
I'd like to clean it up some.
I just realized I did something without... Whoa, I should have heated the board up, done a bit of preheating first. This isn't going to work particularly well.
See how it goes.
Very good. Okay. What I was a little worried about was that pad.
I think I've got way too much solder on it now. I was concerned that pad would... that it was going to be slightly burned. Okay, that should do for now. Let's get our chip on there.
Pin 1 is the bottom left corner. Don't know if you can see it on there. I know it's there, but you can also tell if you look at the bottom of it, just like what the pad looks like. So you know that this just needs to go this way.
So the way to do this bit here is quite simple. Yeah, I have to heat up the board. I'm going to do it the other way around. And while you're holding it, you're trying to get the board up to heat while you're holding that chip in place over top. And then you got to squeeze it. When I say squeeze, I mean you're pushing down on the top. All right, I think that did it. I'm a little nervous still, though.
Let's just press down on this one. And of course I messed this one up. And that one up.
Oh, come on. Done. All right, let's give this a quick clean. Take this piece of paper towel, put on some alcohol. I just put it over to the side first. Well, okay.
I wanted to make sure that it's not going to bubble on me. It's not. Okay. Toothbrush. Let's give this a good scrub. It's not perfect, but it's cleaner. The heat on it's dissipating really, really fast, so I can test this really soon. I might even be able to test it now.
All right, let's see if this does the trick. Now, I gotta unplug this immediately. I don't want this to get overheated, but I just want to see if it pulls some amperage. There it is, immediately pulling amperage on the spot. All right, let's get this back into the laptop. So I'm not connecting everything back up. I just need basically the monitor, the heat sink, just some basics. Now for the battery, I'm just going to put one single screw in. That's just to hold it all in place. That way, if there's something I messed up, I can take it apart a lot faster. I don't need to take all those screws out. That should do it for now. I have left out the solid state drive and the Wi-Fi card. Now this will be a much more realistic charging experience. The light is on. It is charging. Oh, that feels good. It's already up to it's around 1 amp. There it is. That's it. All right, all you gotta do now is just put it back together. And there's another device fixed and saved from the garbage dump. So, oh man, that was pretty darn cool. I was pretty excited to see that. I've never replaced a MOSFET on a laptop before. I know the principles of how to do it at least, and I'm happy to see that that proved true. But it's done and dusted, and that's all there is to it. So if you guys like the video, please do leave a like, and if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys all in another video. Bye.